Okay, we're here to open up the Parks and Rec Commission meeting for April 24th. Can I have a roll call, please?
Yes, Commissioner Tesdall, did I pronounce that right?
Yes.
Okay, so just say here.
Here.
Commissioner Brandt,
Here.
Commissioner Shebrel,
Here.
Chair Bellamo.
Here.
Okay.
Okay, so since we're new, we'll go over a little bit what we do. So normally what we do, so we'll do the roll call and then we approve the consent agenda from last week. So we approve, or last month. So normally, since everyone's here, they know all the minutes. We just usually have a motion to do the approval and then move forward. But if you guys want to read through, or just to catch you guys up on what we did last meeting was we went over our yearly budget and our yearly goals, and I presented that to City Council 2 days ago. We went over our art in the park planning. So it's the event we're going to have on May 5th for the kids to sell their art at Wade Creek. And then we talked about the sprint in spring we're not doing one this year. We do a 5K around Campanella, but we're looking to change the course for next year and try to get an actual,
make it a bit more of like a city run.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can see like the talent.
And it'll be like a certified course where like people can get like real times and like get them.
Yeah,
Uh,
and basically getting it USATF certified, so we get
Yeah.
insurance and
Yeah.
have your times be official.
Okay, cool.
And it's a fast course.
So that's pretty much what we did last time. So normally I'll ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda from the last meeting. Someone does the first round and says makes the motion. We get a second, and then all in favor, everyone says aye, and then we move on to city comments, and then we move on to commission stuff. Then any comments for us at the end, and then that's pretty much how it goes for the most part. So can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda from the last meeting?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Aye.
So second, yeah.
Second, okay.
And then all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No. So
Okay.
then, perfect. And then we have citizen comments and concerns. We have one. Louder. Oh, you want to do that? Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. So I was gonna preface this. So I've been the chair for the last couple years. Do we want a new chair? Do we want does anyone want to do it out of curiosity, or
This is my first meeting.
I've been a fan of your chairing, so
you guys make a motion to
I move to have Vincent Palomo continue to be our chairperson.
And second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, perfect. And then we need a vice chair too. Oh, okay, perfect. I was gonna say, just in case, something happens and I potentially fall off the commission, do we want a vice chair to potentially take over if that happens?
We'll probably just vote at the time.
Just vote at the time, call it good. Okay, that's perfect. And then that's fine by me. Perfect. Okay, now citizen comments. Sorry.
Okay, first I'm here and. Hello? First I'm here representing the Traffic and Safety Committee because we want to interact with the other committees here in town. And we would like to be able to contact you guys, especially on the August Nights Out. We need help doing that. And we would love you guys to have a booth there to represent the Park and Rec, okay? Now on to business. I would like to suggest the name of the dog park at Wade Creek Park to have a plaque reading the Chris Nelson's Memorial Park for all the work she did by starting the Estacada Lost and Found pet website, which she saved a lot of pets and found a lot of pets and brought them home till she no longer could do it because of her cancer. She went out every day to do this, And I would really like you to suggest to the city council that this park be named after Chris Nelson. Because without Chris Nelson, there would have been a lot of pets in this town, either go to the pound or end up dead. Thank you. And I really want you to suggest to the city council. Thank you.
And just for the night out, we definitely plan on being at that, well, pretty much any other city event that's gonna happen this year. We'll talk about it more later, but because I have one other thing for the meeting today where we want to start surveying people like in the community about parks. And so we're gonna try to go to pretty much as many as we can, because for the park master plan update, I want to do the survey, so we'll definitely be
Yeah. And maybe have a craft day in the park with us bringing different crafts to the gazebos and the kids doing crafts.
sure.
We used to do that when I was on the board. At least one year, we'd bring a bunch of beads, whatever, and the kids would work, do crafts. Thank you.
And can you confirm that Chris Nelson, like CHRIS Nelson, is the correct name to suggest?
Yes.
Okay.
She used to be the mayor of Estacada in 2008.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. She got her first day of the being mayor was the flood of Estacada.
Oh,
96.
Perfect. Okay, so let's. So I'm just gonna put that toward at the end, and then we'll bring that back up at the end after we do the rest of the city business. And then we can talk about that one. And then, okay, so on to commission business. First off, we have the Art in the Park planning. So, May 5th, 2 to 4 PM. At Wade Creek, we'll be setting up, actually, I was gonna ask Taryn, what day would be good for me to pick up the canopies for? Yeah, anytime. On Thursday, right? Okay. Saturday. And you close at 5, right? Okay. Okay, so I'll try to get there. Probably Thursday. Okay, so also the city has canopies that we put up for people. We tell people to bring their own because I think last year we had, I don't know, 25 kids come out. So as the parents brought their own canopies, the ones who didn't have them, we just let them set up under the city ones, and we set up a booth under one, and then we let Arch set up a booth under one. So I'll pick up those canopies, and usually we start setting up at like 1 o'clock, like just like an hour before. It's pretty fast and simple to set up that event. We do have, so we had online registration this year for the event, and we already have 5 kids signed up through that registration. So we'll have, I think we'll have the printouts where they can sign it and when they get there, or they can actually just go online and do it online when they get there too. So because I think it was kids under 14 had to be accompanied by a guardian, and then you sign for them, and then it's for pretty much any kid like high school and under is welcome to come and sell their crafts and do those types of things. So there's not too much. I think the art commission's gonna come out and set up a booth and do some stuff. Do we have anything? The only thing I wanted to do for it, and I don't know we'll get to, is actually having the surveys ready to hand out to people. But I don't know if we're gonna have them ready in time, because I wanted to run them by city council first. So we'll see how that works out. But did you want to set up like a QR code for the Quest Cicada and try to promote that more while we're out there?
Yeah, I could raise it for that, so.
Cool. So I mean, this one's it's a pretty straightforward event. You don't usually have too much interaction with, we set up the stuff, let them do their thing. But if there's other things you guys want to do, like if you had like, potentially if you wanted to like do a craft thing that the kids do an activity at the parks booth, we could do something like that.
yeah, I'm trying to think what would be a good quick craft to come up with.
The only thing I was thinking about was, because I told the arts we would do the same because they do kind of a similar thing, but they actually like make the crafts and stuff. I was thinking we could do like they get like blank postcards or something like that, and then they could like decorate them with like nature stuff or something. And they could like send them out and do something or something like that. Again, I don't know, it's a little short time because we only have 2 weeks to do this one, but if we had that ready for like the arts event or anything like that, we could do something like that, but
Painting box.
whatever, yeah. So I mean, any ideas are welcome to, if we think want to do anything like that. Usually we bring chalk for the kids and let them like draw on the ground and do that type of thing too.
So the Arts Commission didn't they have an activity planned or?
I think they're gonna bring something. Last year they did the button making where they had like they make the press down, they press to make actual buttons and stuff like that. They're not doing that this year. I think they're gonna do something. I just forget what Jesse said. But
I could also reach out we just went to like a Todos Juntos event and they had a ton of stuff like for doing craft things, and I don't know what all they're gonna use for the summer camp, so my wife's like friends with folks over there, so we could find out what if they have anything sitting around that would be appropriate for this.
sure. Yeah, we're like I said, if you guys think of anything, we have, actually, you know what, since we're all here, let me look. I think our budget for this year was about $14,000. So we have like a small budget set aside for each
Okay.
event. The big thing is we do all 5 of the concerts in the park in Wade Creek.
Yeah.
And that's like $12,000 this year because you have to pay for the 5 bands and all those
Yeah.
things. But I mean, the rest of our events are like a few $100s. So if you want, like, if we wanted to get like some sort of art supplies for them to do an activity or anything like that, we could totally do it through the parks budget. And
Yeah.
so if you guys, like I said, if you guys think of anything, even like, it doesn't have to be right now, as long as it is before the event, we could, and you can,
Yeah.
normally, so just for, are we doing the commission applications? Was Elena doing the training for the? Got it. So just for your guys' knowledge, when we meet, like when we have where 3 people are over, it's a quorum. So we're not supposed to have a quorum outside of a place where the public has like access to be able to videotape and that type of thing. So when we do emails, usually what I'll do is like, if I create like the server, or like how I did with this, I sent it to Taryn and then Taryn distributes it to everybody. So if you come up with an idea and you like it, you can always email Taryn and then she can send it out, and that way we don't risk like breaking the quorum rules or anything like that.
That's good to know.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'll get the canopies. I'll bring those probably about 1. So if you guys want to show up like right around 1, we can get those set up. And then I think we told people to show up around 1:15 to start getting set up. Let me just pull up the email from Jesse. Yeah, so she said, so on our thing, we told them, bring their own supplies. Items must be sold by the student without assistance from the adults. All items must be priced prior to the beginning of the event. Kindergarten through 6th grade are accompanied by an adult all day. 7 through 12 just need a permission signed by the parent with a emergency contact in case something happens. And then if they wanted to bring their own like little snack or anything like that. And like I said, we have 5 people already signed up for it. Yeah, they're mostly just selling like bracelets or little jewelry or paintings, or actually someone's doing paintings and drawings of landscapes. So we have a pretty little wide array of things. Taryn, are you gonna do a Facebook post or just reshare it just for perfect? And then then the city has social media accounts where they can advertise the events through those. And we put out pretty much all of our advertising through that.
Okay.
I was gonna say, do you want a deadline for those, or they can do it the day of, right? To
Oh,
register?
I think the day, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I think it should be fine.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's happened in the past too. I think we've
Okay.
had a lot of people just show up.
Okay.
Yeah, it's always about like 50% sign up and then about half just
Yeah,
sign the paper when they
okay,
get there.
I'll do a post probably tomorrow or maybe Monday, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Cool. Anything else for art in the park?
Yeah, nothing right now.
No.
All good, Tina? Yeah, perfect. All right, cool. Second item of business was a cleanup day planning. So this is a new event that I've been trying to put together for the city this year. So for this year, I wanted to do an ivy cleanup at Ranger Woods.
Oh.
So the ivy that's like the English ivy that's climbing up the trees, not good for the trees. It eventually, it kills them, so I wanted to do that. So since Ranger Woods, that is the little walking trail right behind the cemetery. I went to the school board and asked them for permission to be able to do it, and they were fine with it. The only stipulations they had was no climbing trees and no pesticides, or herbicides, which we weren't gonna do anyway. So, so that's good.
Or no tree climb.
No tree climb, yeah, I'm not about to fall out of a tree, so. So I reached out to an organization called Solve here in Oregon. And they help put together these types of events, and they even provide some funding for the events. So I went through their little leadership program and was able to get them on board with it, so they're good with it. The last piece I want to do before I retouch base with the school board is the disposal portion of it. That's the only portion of it that I've yet to secure. Right now, I have an email out to Don. He's our public works director.
Okay.
So I was hoping he's able to put like a dumpster or some dump truck bin or anything. I was initially thinking we could do it. If we could put it in the school parking lot that's right next to Ranger Woods.
Yeah.
If we could put it there on Saturday and then do the cleanup on Sunday and let them pick it up that night before school, and it shouldn't impact like the kids parking or anything like that.
Mhm.
But if they're not cool with that, we could also use the green space that's right next to the cemetery. That's
I was gonna say, cause are there games or anything going on Saturdays?
it'll be pretty late in May. I've yet to set like a firm date on it. I'm either in
Okay.
late May, early June. But I'm hoping for like the last weekend of May, like the 25th, 26th, that time frame. And I think the kids will be in school still. I'm not 100% sure.
I know there's like baseball and stuff going on right now.
Yeah, I don't.
You're thinking of a little spot that's like by the trailhead on the north end?
So, okay, so like on this map so I was thinking either we could use this, Like-
Oh,
like that parking lot
Yeah.
right there,
right,
or this green space. Right here,
yeah.
because
Oh, okay.
that's, I live right up the street from there and nobody uses that for anything. And if they, as long as they can, I think they have even like a little curb where they might be able to get the truck and to put it on and then
Okay.
pull it off. But so I'm just waiting back to hear from Don. He's checking with the city manager to make sure that they would be fine with that. If for some reason they can't do it, I can touch base with Walker Disposal, so the trash people in the community. I can touch base with them and see if they'd be willing to do a dumpster somewhere or anything like that.
Okay.
And then, so the only thing is once we get the disposal portion figured out, I'm just gonna call I think it was the operations manager at the school, let him know what was going on, just to make sure they're still cool with it. And then we should, like I said, we should be able to do the cleanup pretty much. I mean, I think it'd be like maybe 2 to 3 hours on like a Sunday or a Saturday. We should be a decent amount of time to get a majority of the trees cleaned up, and then some of the harder ones will be, I can always go back and just do it since I live so close. So it's not too big of a deal. But from what I read about doing it, it's better to do it now. That way, if So like the bigger pieces of ivy that you can't just take off the tree, if you just clean cut it around the base of the tree over the summer, it dries out. Since they don't pull any nutrients or water off of the tree, they'll just dry out over the course of the summer, which is the best time to do it. And then you would just go back later and then just pull it off the tree.
Once it's all
And it'll just all pull right off. The only reason it won't do it initially is because they do have roots that go into the bark, which chew up the bark, but it doesn't actually, it's purely structural. There's no like actual nutrients being transferred from the tree to the ivy or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's how we do it. We've had a bunch of ivy at our house. so-
Yeah.
And yeah, you just go through and you just cut the ivy and don't even like try pulling it off. Like, and then like we usually do like the next year we go in and then we can rip it all off.
Yeah. So what I was hoping was we could do is because Solve said they provide $50 worth for supplies. So I would like to get, whether Dawn has like trash cans and nippers and all that stuff we can use. If not, I can go to the local hardware store, pick up like 3, 4, 5 trash cans, and then a few pairs of gloves and some clippers. A lot of it's so small where you can just grab it and pull it off and
Yeah.
just stick it in a trash can and call it good. So, but some of it is a little bit bigger, and I'll take a look, like I said, some nippers, maybe a handsaw or something like that. And I think like if for the volunteers, it would you have them do like the easier ones, and then I can go, like I said, the harder trees, like the ones that are like right up against the cemetery that are like really bad.
Yeah.
I can like take care of those, like whether it's the day before or like after or whatever, it's all good. And then so essentially what we do is like have like teams of like 2 or 3 people, like put a trash can by a tree, pull all the ivy off, put it in the trash can. Once you fill up the trash can, dump it into the big dumpster, and then just move on to the next tree.
Okay.
So if you have like a couple people working on a tree, I mean, it'll take like maybe 5-10 minutes per tree. And then so I was thinking if we had like anywhere from like maybe like 15 people, like we could probably cover a majority of Ranger Woods, especially the stuff that's like right where the trails are, because not all the trees have it.
Oh,
It's
okay,
only-
I was gonna say.
it's-
What's the?
It's most of them are like maybe the ivy's like my height, maybe a couple feet higher, and it's all relatively thin. So it's better to do it now before it gets really bad. Like I said, the trees that have been neglected for years are the ones that are really close to the cemetery, and those are the ones that can be hard to do. I wouldn't ask like the volunteers to really like get in there and do those ones. As long as they can like have multiple hands doing all the easy trees and cleaning all those up,
Yeah.
it would go a long way for that cleanup. So I'm gonna do a private event on the Solve website. So all I have to do for them is tell them like, oh, we're gonna pull this much ivy off or we pulled this much ivy off the trees. We filled up a 10 by 10 dumpster, and like maybe submit some pictures like, oh, before and after pictures
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And then like I can if we do end up buying some supplies, I could submit the receipts to them and they'll reimburse me directly and call it good. And then I just have to report back after. And the only thing is we'll have to have like people just sign a small waiver, like, oh, I want to come out and help and do that
Oh,
type of thing. Solve requires that too, because they like to know to like make sure everything's on the up and up. And then I was just being like, the only thing I was probably like waters and maybe some snacks for the people who come out, just because it's the time of year where it'll be a little warm, so
Yeah.
we want to make sure no one passes out from like dehydration or anything like that. Yeah, and then so hopefully I think we should, even like with just the people on the committee and some other members of the community, I just helped at the dance studio clean up the highway like 2 days ago for Earth Day.
Oh,
And so they had a group of like, I don't know, 6 or 7 volunteers go out and clean up the section of highway right there. So, and she said she'd be willing to come do the trees, since I came out and did that with them. So, just getting out the word out that way. So I think we're, like I said, I think we're pretty good. I just squaring away the last details, making sure like we get the disposal portion right and that's the type of thing. And then, yeah, I just want to make sure like, the dumpster, like no one actually dumps like actual trash or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure I want them to be able to pick it up and then pretty much the next day grab it
yeah.
and haul it off and make sure that they don't end up with just random trash in there. So yeah, anything else on or think we need or anything like that? I would say, one thing I did read is if you have a tendency to have like more sensitive skin, English ivy, it's not poison, it's not poison ivy or anything like that. But it could cause a reaction, so if you're planning to come out, but you have, it may not, either wear long sleeve, I'm gonna like put that in the post, like wear long
Okay,
sleeves
I
and
was
that
gonna
type of
say,
thing. Just in case, cause that's what we need gloves and everything, but
Yeah, I definitely put that in the poster.
yeah,
People come back, like, I got a rash.
right, yeah. But yeah, if you guys think, like I said, it'll be after our next meeting, so hopefully I'll have everything squared away by in the next couple weeks, and then I'll have it more ready for next meeting, and then we can, like I said, decide on a for sure date and that type of thing. I was aiming for, I think it's the 25th and the 26th.
Is that Memorial Weekend?
Yeah,
Is it?
yeah,
Oh,
I'll definitely know.
oh, okay. Is that, okay, so maybe, like I said, we always push it back to like the 1st or the 2nd in June too. Like that's like, I mean,
Yeah.
or even,
The one before.
well, I won't be there, I won't be here that weekend. Yeah, I won't be,
I
I'm
think
coming,
June would be better.
I'm actually organizing like a trail cleanup thing the weekend before that.
oh, nice, on the 11th to the 12th,
No, and not Mother's Day, the one after that, one between that.
the 18th and 19th?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I'm flying back in on the 19th, so yeah, that's why I skipped that weekend, but yeah, like I said, if
Yeah.
June works out for you guys
I
or
would say I think June would be
anything
better.
like that. I'm, like I said, I'm not firm on dates or anything like that, and if, do you know when school ends?
June,
Do you-
it's like,
Like mid-June.
yeah.
Yeah, it's in the middle of June.
Oh, okay, I was like, cause maybe if like the kids were out of school, we'd have to worry about like people walking through that trail, like maybe it'd be good for like mid to late June, or, you
Well,
know,
I know even in the like summers, like people
they use it,
use
but,
it, but not as much.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe if they walk past, they'll join.
yeah. Yeah, so just think about it, and then if you have anything else that we need for the event, or then that's pretty much what I've got for it so far.
So trash, drinks, food, volunteers.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Perfect. Cool. Anything else? Cool. All right, next, we have the wayfinding signs, which is this map that I drew up just from what I thought would work for the city. So if we use essentially that street corner as a starting point, what we were thinking was, is actually, you know what? Let me pull up the picture that Melanie gave me before. So just so you have an idea what we're talking about. She wants to do like these little signs that tell you like, oh, if you walk 15 minutes that way, and it'll either take you to another sign, or it'll actually take you to a park. Not from this point, it'll all take you to signs, because it's about a 15-minute walk from A to C. And then from A to B, it's about a 10-minute walk.
Okay.
And then I think then we need signs on that corner, just so people don't walk straight and they don't know when to turn or anything like that.
For which one?
For pretty much any of them, because
Yeah.
But for B, once you walk up the hill, as soon as you hit that street, that hopefully I'm thinking there will be a sign on that corner that'll point right. And
So there's, the only suggestions I had, so I like all this.
Oh, but that's what she's like, those kind of signs.
Oh, okay. I see.
And they point like in the direction of the parks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was envisioning.
Instead of
So,
a bike, would it be like a person walking?
Yeah, it could be it could be a person walking, it could be, I mean, we can have both. You have walking
Yeah.
times and biking times.
Okay,
You know, they have like the mile plus the time it takes and
yeah.
that type of thing, but
so yeah, for B, the only thing is that, if you say to like turn right there, there's another right where
Yeah.
you'll send people past it. It's like, it's a hard park to find. I would almost say like for both B and G, we might want to have two of those signs.
I
Sure.
agree.
Because like for G, when you get to this right up here, you can't actually see the park from that intersection.
No.
And you can easily just go, if you're like, hey, it's down
You
here.
have to like physically like turn in to see the part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I would just say like
It's touch back
B and
there.
G, you get duplicates of each one, and then you put one more, a copy of each one at those corners.
Mhm.
Just like in between two paths. Citizen goes like in the middle of a block. right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But once, if we,
Consider-
if we turn you onto that street, there is a sign that puts you into the park at least.
Yeah,
Even then, you have to really look for it.
So you think, so on, from G to this intersection here,
Yeah.
there would be another sign. Yeah, let's put H, and then on,
I guess it wouldn't be duplicate if it has a distance, but I mean, you could even, you almost don't even need a distance on that, then you could just be like.
Yeah, just like an arrow.
Yeah, cause it's not, it's like now you're out of options.
so if you're here and it points you right, and you just walk straight down the street this way, what do you think the sign should be?
Oh, wait. Let's see.
Cause it's a circle.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know, but see, that's the thing, it's like if you, it is tricky, when you get here. Yeah, that definitely feels like a left turn when you get up to that, but if you follow it, it will take you over to that.
I think, cause I think it would just point, like, if you just went right, if it pointed right here and then you just walk straight down the street and you hit that loop, you would eventually hit it. But you think right there should be another sign?
Yeah, cause if you do that, I mean,
Cause
when
even
you're,
if people walk that loop, I think they're gonna be like, that was a little bit longer of a distance.
yeah. And not only that, but I mean, when you're doing this, that feels like the main street. It doesn't, you're not gonna end up taking, but like when you're there, it's just like, oh, this is the left going up the hill. And it doesn't feel like the street you should be on if the sign just told you to go this way.
Yeah,
Okay, so if,
like a misleading hike.
so if you like, would we assume someone would be on Mountain View and then you would put it here and just point them that way?
No, I would say put it here and
In
point
the-
him this way because
Okay.
it does loop him around. But once you're on that street, then you can't really miss it.
Alright, so this intersection here. Right there is where we want it. Okay.
Yeah, because the entrance is over here on this side.
Yeah. But it's funny because Google tells you you can go.
Yeah.
Through on the front side, like on the map shows, but there's no walking space right there. It's literally on the other side. Okay,
Yeah, I think it took me 3 tries to actually get in that park.
perfect,
Now we walk here all the time.
perfect. And Melanie was looking for the recommendation for this month. If you want to do the recommendations just with the changes
Mhm.
that we made.
Yeah.
And then we, like I said, we can let. Pretty much, so I just put all the times and stuff here. I walked it all out and it all matches with Google's time. Like it's
Oh, okay.
like Google's
So Sarah, you
really
a fast
accurate.
walker
So
or-
if they want to do, whether she wants to do walking or what she wants to do biking,
Okay,
whether just, she can use Google to kind of map it out.
yeah,
So she really was just looking for the recommendation this month, just so they can get started on the project.
okay. And then where would these extra sign go?
So you're thinking it would be like right on this intersection.
Okay,
So they would point them that way and they would go into the
Roger.
entrance of the park right there.
okay,
And the
perfect.
other one would be there.
Okay, that's perfect.
Cool. Okay, yeah, so if everyone's good with that, if. Go ahead.
Do we need to do an official movement for that or just, you're just gonna give this to the city as your recommendation?
Do you need, if for Melanie to move forward on this, does she need an official recommendation or can you just give her like the plans and then let her do it? Okay, perfect. Perfect. Okay, well, I'll amend them and then I'll send you the redone plans and let her take care of it and call it good. And the reason that's fine is because it's coming out of like the public works budget, like we don't have like anything like. Yeah, okay. Sure. Okay, if you wanna do a motion, then we'll,
You can just go.
yeah,
I have to do the same steps on some things too, so we'll, but yeah, I mean, this is all good.
which,
You can move, you can move to approve the signs. You could say I move to approve signs with.
Alright.
with recommendations and
Well-
just leave it at that. It's
Okay.
pretty open.
Well,
pretty
then I move
open-ended.
to approve our wayfinding signs with the adjustments we have suggested.
And then a second.
Yeah.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Perfect. Cool, all right. And then, okay, so we have a few new applications for our park committee or commission. The first two have already been approved by city council. No, none of them? Okay. So starting not next month, but
Right, so city council approved for you guys to become a 7-person commission. That would start in June. So you have currently 1 open space. But once that becomes 7, then you would have 3. And right now you have 3 applications, so it's up to you guys if you'd like to make a recommendation to all of them. To city council to approve all of them. We were thinking that would be the fastest way to get your commission full. And one of them could start in May and then 2 of them could start in June. Or if you'd like to just do the 1, then you could open it back up for more applications and start this process again. So it's kind of however you guys would like to do it.
Well, that's good news because as I look at all 3, I thought it would be a real bummer to not have to have to like exclude any of these people because they all
Yeah,
seem like they'd
They're
be great.
great applications.
So
I like all these applicants.
I definitely approve. I personally approve of all 3. I've read through these already, but
for clarification, the reason 2 can start in May is because we got their applications earlier than the 1.
No,
Okay.
you only have 1 open spot right now because you're a 5-person commission at the moment.
Oh, okay.
So 1 could start in May, and then once it gets finalized in June, because the city council just made that recommendation this week or approved it. So it takes 30 days, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to wait 30, sorry to interrupt. You have
Yeah.
to wait 30 days for the council to approve something before it goes into effect. So that's why.
Yeah, so then
The
that's
May,
why
yeah.
June, you could have the other 2 start and then be a full 7-person at your
Got it.
June meeting.
Do we want to recommend who would be the person to start in May?
Yeah, you could, because I don't know how you guys want to do that, but
well, if we get all 3, then I'm stoked because they all look great and it would be a
Yeah.
bummer to kick anyone out. But I think it's very timely to have someone with like universal access experience get in
Yeah.
here as soon as possible because it's been such an abstract thing for us. It's something we really want, but we are just kind of like, oh, let's make this universally accessible. And having someone who's actually who has experience with Harper's and is something that they deal with personally. I don't want to delay having someone with that experience join us.
And
That's exactly who I was thinking. I work with adults with disabilities, but this is definitely like, it's important. I
Yeah.
agree with this person.
and that I think she came out when we were building so in Campanella, there's gonna be an all-inclusive playground in that park. Yeah, she came out and advocated for the Harper's Playground during that
Mm.
because that is one thing we don't have in the city
Yeah,
is
no.
all-inclusive playgrounds where like
Yeah,
all kids can play together, that type of thing. So we're for sure gonna have one in in Campanella,
okay.
which is good, but I was gonna say something, having her experience, stuff like that would be good for the city. Like I said, I
Yeah.
read through pretty much everybody's and they all look good.
I would like all 3 too.
Yeah. What do you think?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was looking over them, yesterday before the meeting, I would agree with her starting in May.
Perfect.
I've been to that playground before too with my kids, so.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
actually really cool.
Yeah, I think having her around would be great for the committee, so,
Agreed.
okay,
Okay,
perfect, yeah, they all look good, so.
so, but that's our recommendation for May.
For May, yep, sounds good. Cool, and then Okay, so if someone wants to do that.
Sure, we'll keep the pattern up. I move to recommend Christy Jackson for starting in May, and then I move to recommend Jordan, it's a lot of words, and Ryan Huff to join us in June when we expand to a 7-person committee.
You can have a second,
I second on both of those motions.
and all in favor, say aye.
I,
Aye.
All opposed? Perfect. Cool. All right. So now this is more of a. So once we get through all of the business we had planned for the meeting, E is for pretty much like any comments, concerns, anything that came up that was outside of the
Oh, okay.
the planned business, then we can move on to that stuff and make recommendations and do those types of things, just more, it's a bit more free form. So, for the dog park for Chris Nelson, how do we feel about making the recommendations for city council to have the dog park named after Chris Nelson for her memorial park?
I mean, my family's been here a long time, so I remember Chris Nelson, actually, my mom has talked about that. So, yeah.
Predates me a little bit.
Huh?
Predates me a little bit. Not that much.
It
but
also predates,
just a little bit.
it does me too, I'm,
I've been here 12 years, but that would have been like 96, right?
I was gonna say, I wasn't born and raised here, but my
Yeah.
family was.
You said the
Chris Nelson just died last year
Mm,
of cancer. She
Yeah.
started the website, this 8 years ago. So, but, no, she started the dog park, website, or the website of at least, 8 to 7 years ago.
mhm.
And she saved her money. On top of that, she ran the doggy dash for cancer every year in the park. A doggy dash and for cancer, to raise money for cancer patients.
I'm always in favor of recognizing people who do things like this for the community and are like big parts of the community and
Yeah,
dedicate their life and service in service to the community. So I have no problem with it at all either.
I don't either. Yeah, I like it.
yes, sounds good.
Perfect. Okay. You wanna do a motion for that?
Sure. I move to recommend designating our new dog park at Wade Creek Park, the Chris Nelson Memorial Park.
You can have a second.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Perfect. Cool. And yes, so just for clarification, the horseshoe pit that is in Wade Creek right now, we're looking to, we're repurposing it to be a dog park, like more a dog run for people to go out, because no one uses the.
it already
horseshoe
is.
I mean, yeah.
We're just making it official. You're gonna put a taller fence in and now you can actually do it.
Senior citizens are gonna look fine.
That's awesome.
And then I think the last thing I had was so I don't know, did you because you guys were on the committee already, but did you guys watch the SDC joint workshop between, okay,
I did.
no, okay. So during the workshop, they brought up like doing a survey for of people in the community of like what are people's perceptions of like the needs for parks in the city? What are like the perceptions for like amenities that people would like to see for the city? So what the main topic about it is, and it's on YouTube if you want to, if you go through and watch it, it's like an hour, it's like 2 hours. But what it boils down to is right now in our municipal code, there is no language that has developers set aside any portion of land as parks within the community. And we're evaluating the need of more park space for the people in the community, because like, I think it was like the acreage we had was like, it was low. I mean, we had like 10-15 acres of parks, like when really we would probably need, I think it was like double that amount or something like that.
Yeah.
So there are multiple ways for the city to like tackle that issue.
Didn't we agree, for them to start changing the wording?
Yes, so they're gonna go ahead, so plan, like they're gonna hire a consultant.
Yeah,
And within the planning, the actual city planners are gonna work with the consultants about refining the language within the municipal code. And so we're all a part of that talk. So there's kind of two portions. So one would, if they amended the code to actually like have the developers set aside land, that's one piece of it. The other piece is the actual SDCs, which are the development charges that they pay for permits to build within the city. There's been talks about like looking at whether or not we're charging enough and like have enough money to actually invest in the city,
yeah.
because all the SDCs, what essentially it boils down to is all of that money goes into a like a pool of funds, and we use that money for capital expenditures for the city.
Okay.
So
Does this like include like the Parks and Rec employees and stuff? Or is that
no,
separate?
so it's so like a capital expenditure is it's like it's like if you were in a business, it would be an assets that you buy.
Oh, okay,
So a capital expenditure for the city would be like we just bought the splash pad for the city, which is like was like $30,000 like thing.
Mhm.
It's gonna have a life like accounting wise, and it's it like they depreciate over time, like and those
Okay.
types of things. But like they can use that to purchase like new land to be developed into a park. They can use it to buy like certain equipment, or like they can use it to actually develop the land, but they can't use it for like routine maintenance. They
Okay.
can't use it for like wages and salaries. It's explicitly for capital expenditures within the
Okay.
city park system.
thank you for explaining.
Yeah, all good. And just for everybody, like not, but like like the sewers have SDCs, the streets have SDCs, like the reason they exist is because it's like, it's on the city to develop those things. It's there to develop the infrastructure. So if we're not pulling in enough funds to actually build the infrastructure,
Yeah,
then you would have communities where developments wouldn't work if
Yeah.
they didn't have the money to put in the infrastructure, because if they didn't have streets, if they didn't have curbs, they didn't have those things, you couldn't have a community, because there'd be no public, you have no public access to these types of things. And there's strong language in the code about like those types of SDCs, but there's none for, I mean, not SDCs, but so they're looking to potentially increase those to ensure we have enough money to have enough funds to do the capital expenditures.
Okay.
But the language we were looking at is that there's no language that says that a developer has to set aside a certain portion of the land to be developed into a park,
yeah,
which is out of the norm for pretty much any other city around us.
yeah, no, definitely is.
Yeah, Malala has them.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
putting in a whole development without recreation opportunities is like not a great idea.
No, yeah,
So my thing is like, it's not that like growth is bad or like development's bad or anything like that, but we want to ensure they're building developments that work with the city.
yeah,
It-
that's more of my thing as well. Like, if you're gonna grow, you need to also grow.
Right.
Yeah,
So in this whole process, this process is gonna take like a year and a half,
Okay.
something like that.
Mhm.
But I would like, just for since we're gonna do this and potentially amend the Parks Master Plan, which hasn't been amended in quite a long time.
oh, okay.
I would like to get a survey out to people in the community and gauge their interest in more park space, what kind of amenities people would like to see. And that way we can actually gauge like people's interest in like having more park space and whether
Yeah.
people want it or not. Also, what, like, if we, like, say we do get new park space, what would they like to see within the
In
parks?
It's not just the same thing over and over.
Yeah. And I was thinking is if I can come up with like a rough draft of a survey and I'll send it out to everybody, and then whatever input, like literally any input you guys want, like if you want like different questions, they want them worded a different way. If you want like
Okay.
a 1 to 5 scale on something, like any of that stuff. Like, I was thinking, I would, go ahead.
Oh, I think a mixture of like the 1 to 5 scales and questions where
Yeah.
they actually write out would be good. A little
Yeah.
bit of both.
Like a top three, like, you know,
Yeah.
the one they want the most or something.
Yeah.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah, so we kind of did something like this before with the pickleball courts where I gave like a bunch of surveys to the main pickleball person, and he took it to his church group that plays a ton of pickleball. And
Have a pickleball court?
no, they
Okay.
really want to build one. Like
Play at the
they
tennis courts by the middle
Oh,
school.
okay.
Yeah.
I was like,
Like, they were all full a couple days ago when I was playing at the playground with my kids. They were
Oh,
all playing
wow.
pickleball.
that is
Yeah.
awesome. Okay.
Yeah, so the good thing about this is like, it's a pretty like it should be a pretty easy, like most people like to fill
Yeah.
out those types of surveys.
No, they do.
So, because, it's really like, it affects what we're gonna be talking about, like,
Yeah.
so I was hoping we could get them out, like, over the course of the next few months, all of our concerts, all of the arts
Okay.
events, all of the safety events.
Mhm.
We'll get out to those, get people fill it out, make sure, we just need names to make sure we're not double counting people and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
And then if we can, once we get them all back, we can compile them into like a spreadsheet, like this is what people said they want, this is how many people said yes, no, that type of thing. And then we can use that as a good baseline for any recommendations we would make to the parks master plan.
Gotcha.
Because that is really like, the master plan is what, it doesn't dictate what gets done, but it highlights
It's a guideline.
what city council, like the priorities of city council and what the city wants to build and those types of
Okay.
things. So I guess I'll come up with a rough draft. I'll send it to Taryn. I'll let her send it out. And then hopefully we can, once we get back together next month, we can talk about it and see how everyone feels, and
Okay.
hopefully start like canvassing people and that type of thing.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much all I had for extra business.
Yeah, I just wanted to give an update on the Sprint to Spring stuff.
Oh, perfect, yeah.
Yeah, because I got the event application, and it's, the quick background is we've been doing a 5K race up around Campanella Estates, and it's been like a really small, fun thing, and, I thought it'd be nice to grow it and actually, I mean, as the city's getting bigger and we have, like, I've been thinking for a while, we need to have a more interesting course, and then I've gone out and I've found one that like takes us through the city and goes through the neighborhood a little bit and around the parks, and it's super fun, and it actually is like, if you're a runner, like I mean, really of any caliber, but this is kind of, it's like, we actually have a potentially like really like top end 5K course that we could
Oh,
run here.
cool.
And I want to get it USATF certified, which gets it like, basically when people go look for 5K races, it's like, you show up in all the directories, they ensure the event. There's all these things that you get with
Yeah.
it. But it costs $500 to get it, to
Okay.
get the certification lasts 10 years. But so before we go through an expense like that, we have to get the plan approved. And the way that I first routed it would require a street closure that is not in downtown, which would have been at Broadway and Sixth. And then when I looked into what it takes to do that, it is like not worth doing. So
Oh.
and then I've been kind of like looking at the course of like, how can we keep the distance and keep like the essence of it and the shape of it without ever actually getting to a place where we have to close anything other than this one block here for like the finish line.
Okay.
Out of curiosity, was the reason it was like arduous to get the closure was,
You have to, you have to get permits from like, you have to get approval from like fire and police, and there's fees associated with it, and you have to do
Oh.
this thing where you get signatures from all the people that are gonna be affected by the closure, and it's like this, it's a really big process.
Oh, okay.
And so it's like, well, that's quite a bit, and when all it really takes is like, if you kind of you can leverage things in a way where it's like, there are stop signs and there are things that traffic people who are driving, the motorists are gonna have to follow if pedestrians are crossing, and you can leverage that a bit. And I do want to I want to get in touch with Melanie and basically kind of like run my thinking by and be like, will this count? We would definitely want to have like some traffic people out and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
I think we can get it into a place where we have the course where there aren't any actual closures. It's just, there's some people in some vests that are like, hey, you know, some high visit, just make it visible.
Sure.
It's a 5K. We would do it early on like a Saturday, and it would, you know, you try to do it in such a way that it's not disruptive to traffic or where people are going about their day. So, you know, if this is like 8 a.m. on a Saturday and we're shooting for 2 weeks before the Boston Marathon is like the common date of it, so that it's it sits right between the Shamrock Run and Boston Marathon. So you get this kind of nice little tune-up race or something fun to do between them.
Yeah,
Then then I think we'll have something that should work nicely. Yeah, the only closure would be just like, you'd basically come down Broadway, make a left, and you'd finish here. And then we'd close that block down just as like a place for people to hang out for the morning.
Perfect. Yeah, I just like a high level told Melanie like, hey, this is what we're like Steven's thinking. I didn't, but I was like, I'm sure, I told her, I was like, I'm sure he'll give you all the details. So
Yeah.
they're open to it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Once they have the details, that type of
And then
thing,
it's
so.
been, and it's been a slow process, because whenever I reroute it, I don't want to reroute it and be like, that's the plan.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I think this is it. And I'm actually going out and running it, being like, is this still good? And does this feel like I'm endangering myself against motorists, or like, is this a route where if we put up some cones to basically like reserve a little bit of we're not closing the road, we're just kind of like trying to make some visibility to allow people through. Because, if it's a 5K and we have like something like 50 to 100 people, something like that, and you stretch them out, like it'd be crowded up front, they get stretched out really quick. They're almost like single file pretty fast on a course like this.
cause are you gonna scatter like who starts when, or is everyone starting at once?
So the way there's the way that it starts is like, you basically, we go over by the fire station and we
Okay.
send everybody up the hill.
Oh,
And so
that'll scatter.
whenever you do that, you get this natural, just like,
Scatter,
yeah,
yeah.
it totally spreads out. By the time that left turn is made, everyone's
It'd be at
single
the
file
end.
already. But the nice thing about it, the thing that makes it cool about the course is that it starts and ends at the same elevation. So it's like you are within all the parameters for it to count for like records and stuff like that. And because you're climbing immediately, you're spending most of the time flat or downhill. So it makes it super fast. So it's like, get this climb out of the way real quick. And then it becomes this really good runner's course. It also makes it so anyone who's doing it is like, oh, that first part was hard. And the rest is just super fun.
Okay, cool.
And the other cool thing is if it is actually certified and we charge people, like I said, like 30 whatever
Yeah.
bucks, it actually could be like a revenue like
Yeah.
building event where we
Yeah.
can like put that money back into the parks budget and like potentially use it for other projects and
Yeah.
that type of thing. So
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah, there would be some other expenses like, we want to do timing and stuff like that, but if most 5Ks that are USATF certified and have all that stuff are like $50 a person.
I was gonna say, that's what I've usually paid.
Yeah,
for,
and I think that we would be able to do this for $30 a person, and
Okay.
because we're not trying to make a profit, like we're not a business that's
Yeah.
running it.
Yeah,
And it's kind of cool to have this. I think there's something cool about like a city actually, whenever they put on an event, there's like,
yeah.
it's just like, it seems a little more authentic than, then it's just like such and such racing company that like just trying to squeeze dollars out of you,
Like mud run.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Color run.
right.
cool. And then and like honestly, if like feel free if you guys think of anything that like I want to bring up next meeting, like
Okay.
like most of the events are like someone thought of it and everyone like liked it and wanted to do it. So if you have to think of any events like for the city that you think would be nice or anything like that.
I do have a question. How many events a year do you guys usually do?
So right now we have this, so normally we'd have the spring to spring, the arts in the park. We do 5 concerts over the
Okay.
course of the summer.
Yeah,
We do
Trick or treat.
the trick or trot, which is the
Oh,
little
yeah.
run for the kids to run
I
around.
said yes to that
Yeah,
earlier.
perfect. And we, for a little while, they did a candy cane hunt, but we nixed that this year and we're potentially thinking about doing a new winter event. So we pretty much have 2 events in the spring, 5 for the summer, 1 for the fall. And then right now we don't have anything for the winter.
Okay,
Yeah, and we've had some ambiguous ideas around like like a, you know, like a winter or like Christmas light type thing. And, just a lot of like ideas going about, but nothing like too concrete
Okay.
yet. So, any thoughts for a winter event? They don't have to be light based, but,
You know, our ordinance, you know, it's parks in the rain and the, you know, the ice and whatever, but if you, like I said, you guys think of anything,
Yeah.
any events, any of that stuff, we're totally open to suggestions, like, feel free to bring up whatever you guys like.
Perfect.
Cool. Anything else?
I mean, and then just to kind of like talk about where the light thing was at. When we last discussed it, there's not anything that we want to put too much effort in from the city, like we don't want to put a bunch of like lighting decorations and stuff out ourselves. But we're looking at like the model, like Sandy does their lights, but they have a lot of like businesses that like
Yeah.
will contribute to it.
Mhm.
And I'm an artist at the Winter Light Festival in Portland.
Okay.
Each year, well, I've done it 3 times. And so there's something to that model too, of having people like make something for it.
Yeah.
But that's also like, that's a real commitment, and they actually do pay their artists and stuff too.
Yeah.
It would be, kind of, you know, one of the ideas we're throwing around is making it so it's kind of like smaller and, it's a little more defined, and then we have some incentives. So if there was something where it was like, it's going to be like a string light art contest. So it's like, it's literally like take Christmas lights and make something out of it.
Yeah.
And then we will and then we're going to take all the pieces that people make and like put them up in Wade Creek and like the grass area that's out there now, and set them all up and make that like little walkthrough thing. And then you know, make it a contest or something where whoever
be pretty cool.
wins, you know, gets some money or something like that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Something to think about.
And if you ever have any questions, like, for the city, like, Taryn's always a great resource. She answers tons of questions for all of us and keeps us on track and all that stuff. So Taryn's great, Melanie's great, pretty much anyone in the city. If you have their emails, you can always email them and ask them questions and
Okay.
do that type of thing too. So
Perfect.
perfect.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome.
Okay,
Yeah, thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you for signing up. Thank you for volunteering your
you.
time, and yeah, it should be fun. So perfect. We can adjourn the meeting. Thank you.